SJ. Welcome to Mvskoke Radio, your weekly source for tribal and community news, interesting guests and discussions, plus a local events calendar. SJ, Stone Go, Gary Fife, Jaho Jifgados, Mvskoke Radio, Madbo Hedges to Witchgets. Welcome to our program on this chilly fall morning here in Okmulgee. It's bright and shiny, but it is cold out there today. Weatherman says it's going to be this way for a while, so get used to it. We have another program here that we're going to have to do some last-minute adjustments. But we hope to get through it again. Now, first of all, we were going to speak with a young lady who had been incarcerated and just recently released under this massive program the state put together. And the folks at our reintegration program who handle returning citizens who come back from incarceration. We'll get to that in just a little bit, but first of all, we have some update news about the Recycle Day this week. We have Mr. James Williams coming in. He's in to chat with us and tell us about more expanded effort.
Hey, Mr. Fife, how are you this morning?
Oh, just fine. A little crazy, but hanging in there, I guess.
There we go. On a cold Tuesday morning, or is it Wednesday? Wednesday morning. Yeah. We're just talking about a little bit about the America Recycles Day. We have that event coming up on November the 15th, which is this Friday from 9 a.m. to 3. And we're expanding our collecting this time, and this is why I was excited to come down here and visit with you a little bit. We do have a vendor. We picked up another vendor that will take some appliances. So we're going to take appliances this Friday. We're going to take refrigerators, stoves, dishwashers, washers, dryers. We're excited about that. This is probably the first time that we've been able to do that. But the only caveat there is that they must be cleaned out. And so we don't want the washers have water in them or stoves have old dishes in them. Everything's got to be cleaned out of those appliances, same way with the refrigerators. And also we're going to take some batteries. We're going to take all types of batteries. We're going to take car, truck, lawnmower, 9-volt, AAA, AA, C and D, weed eater battery, drill batteries. We're just going to take all kind of batteries. So we'll have a box there for that. And also TVs. We're going to take big TVs and even bigger TVs. The only caveat on the big TVs is they can't have that wood cabinet case. They can't be inside that. Our vendor just doesn't take any wood around the TVs. They can be big screen, flat screen, whatever they got, and we'll have guys to help you unload them out there if you just want to get rid of your TVs. Everybody likes the bigger, newer ones, so we get that. We're collecting office e-waste, copiers, printers, towers, monitors, fax machines, VCR, CD players, anything that would be in your office, we'll take. So just bring your own stuff down. We're taking tires again this year. We had a real good event last year with our tires, tire collection.
This is Gary.
We're taking car and truck passenger tires.
Sorry about what happened this morning.
We're taking 14-inch, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20-inch tires, but no semi-tires and no tractor tires, no ATV and no RTV tires. We're still collecting cardboard, shredded paper. We have a secure shred truck there. Shred truck will be there from 10 to 1. And so if you got some secure documents that you needed shredded, either tax papers or IRS or banking papers that you need a secure shred for, we can do that. We are taking plastic 1s and 2s, and we are taking aluminum cans. A one-day event, November 15th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., and we hope the weather is good. We'll also have some food there around noon. We have some door prizes, and we'll have some educational outreach material for the folks. So we want everyone to come out. But our big thing today is we've gotten a vendor to take white goods, and so that's what we're going to take. And we're going to take all kinds of batteries. So that's a big plus for us. We'll be putting out another flyer again today, correcting the first one that we put out saying that those items were not accepted, but now they are. So the only thing that we're not collecting really is glass. So I think.
Well, that's quite an addition to your
Oh, yeah.
your list of materials. Now, it was finding a vendor is the key to all of this one.
That's
one
it.
outfit?
That's it. We have to find a vendor, and a vendor that will take it and take that amount of white goods that we estimate that we'll take. The more the merrier. If we have to make 2 trips, we have to make 2 trips to that vendor. But that's good. The tires are the same way. We really don't have an amount on that. We'll just collect them until they quit coming. So that's what we did last year. We ended up with about 15,000 tires last year.
Oh my God! Now we want to stress, I think, that this is from private people and not some business come in and dump a load of tires or something.
Yeah, no, it can't be. You can't have like a shop or anything like that. It has to be from individuals. So we'll be able to do that. The folks that do the tire business, they're already paid to collect that tire, and then they turn it over to another vendor. But we're not collecting anything; we're just doing it for free. So.
Okay, now for those folks who didn't catch you last time you were here, why don't you run over the list of stuff that you will accept one more time for me?
Okay, we'll accept. We're doing electronics collection, mainly e-waste, office e-waste. Copiers, printers, tires, monitors, fax machines, VCRs, CD players, just anything in your office. We recycle cardboard. We'll recycle some paper. We have a secure shred truck there. Plastic bottles, 1s and 2s. If you don't know the difference, just look up underneath that bottle. It'll have a little triangle there, and it'll say 1 or 2. We'll take those. Aluminum cans, just about all types of tires, car and truck, passenger. Just no semi tires, no tractor tires, no ATV or RTV tires. We'll take all the white goods, refrigerator, stoves, dishwashers, washers and dryers, and just make sure they're cleaned out. And aluminum cans, 1-day event, November 15th, 9 a.m. to 3. The shred truck will be there from 10 to 1. We'll have something to eat around noon, door prizes, and some educational outreach material to give away too. So our official address is 12675 North Gun Club Road, or we're just north of McCoy's lumberyard right there in that 40-acre tract right there. So can't miss us. We'll have a bunch of stuff out. We'll also have a roll-off box out there if somebody just needs to bring some trash and dump it too. So
Okay, but we're really not looking for garbage there.
no, we're not. So,
Okay. Oh, one thing we probably should mention is that the brew, Brooks Brewer and the brew will be out there broadcasting.
that's right. Mr. Brooks will be out there, and he'll do a live broadcast, and he'll be out there for a couple hours, and that's always good too. He'll get them all stirred up, worked up, and tell them come on out, and that's what we're telling them too. We're putting it out there. So
Now, has the Mvskoke Creek Nation citizenship or local community really responded well? Have you had a good turnout?
they have. It's really good. We do this twice a year. We do this for Earth Day, and actually we do it for America Recycles Day, which is November 15th coming up. And actually, we're thinking about expanding that. We've done so much, so it's been really good. My guys have been really busy. They stay busy year-round now. We used to say that we had some slow times, but I don't know if we do have any slow times now. So we just keep collecting, and it's been good. It's been really good. The communities, Mvskoke Creek Nation's been good. One community's been good. So it's just worked out great. We have good partnership with Okmulgee, so it's worked out really good.
Are you familiar at all with the situation regarding Freon? I understand at some point they will be stop using it.
That's right. They're going to something else, and so they're going to alternate the Freon that they have and transition to another type. So that's coming pretty soon. I don't know if you can actually buy the old Freon anymore. Some guys may have some stockpile back, but I know that's coming to a halt here pretty quick.
Yeah, well, I read something where the remaining stock is going to shoot up in price.
Oh, I imagine. That'd be something that those old boys will see the demand for it, and the price simply goes up.
Yeah,
So-
no. We're talking about recharging air conditioners and things like that.
Right.
Do you have, this may be out of your line of business, but do you have any idea what happens to that stuff? How they get rid of it?
They have to recapture a lot of that stuff. They don't want it in the ozone air. It's got so much chemicals and particulate in there, it goes up and it damages the ozone layer.
Okay.
It's kind of like aerosol cans. I think they're going to another type of aerosol in aerosol cans. I mean, when we were kids, we thought that was a thing to do, throw them in a fire and watch them blow up.
Yeah.
Can't do that anymore.
Yeah, guilty as charged here also.
Yeah, me too. So, but that's what we're trying to do, trying to prevent that open burn and open dumping. That's why you see so many of our roll-off boxes at our ceremonial grounds churches and community centers now. So we're trying to collect that, you know. So, but man, we're looking for a good day. Folks come on out, take advantage of that, you know, and we're looking forward to seeing quite a few people on that. I do have to give a shout out to a little lady in our office. She just turned 29. Amy Sue is 29, so I have to give a big shout out to Miss Amy Sue.
Yeah, congratulations, Amy.
Yeah.
Here's to your 30th.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's run over the logistical information and repeat it for those who might have come in late or was only listening with one ear.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Our this event will take place on November 15th, starting at 9 o'clock. The shred truck will be there at 10, and it'll be there till 1, but we'll be recycling all day till 3, 4 o'clock. Our center is called the Mvskoke Creek Nation Recycle Center, and it's located on Gun Club Road, 12675 Gun Club Road here in Okmulgee, and it's just on the north side of Okmulgee, and it's just north in that 40-acre tract, that industrial park tract that the tribe owns just north of McCoy's Lumberyard.
Okay.
So we'll be there. Come on out. We've got Fastenal going to donate some water to us, so we'll have free water. We'll have some hot dogs there and whatnot. So we're kind of like Methodists. We don't meet unless we eat. So.
Good way to wrap that one up. Okay, well, thank you, James Williams. Good luck with you. I'm sure we can haul a few things out of our garage to add to your collection there. So, Mado.
Hadam Jijatis.
Okay, we're going to take a break here, and then we'll be back. We have, actually, our complete lineup has shown up, so we've taken care of all the nasty surprises. So stay with us, please, here on Mvskoke Radio, and we'll be back in just a bit.
Brother. And some, my friends, we're already doing it. We got hooked fast. I just can't get enough. I'm Jacob, and I'm addicted to playing the drums.
There's lots of stuff that makes it cool to be native. Doing meth isn't one of them. Find something better to do. Check out ncai.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
Who am I? Am I native? I don't want people assuming things because I'm Indian. I just want to be me. But how do I live in two worlds? Some guys just check out by doing meth. But that ain't for me. Because I see my family, my friends, my drum making, my future. There are a lot of cool things about being who I am. And meth isn't one of them.
Learn more at ncai.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
Hear that? That's the sound of hope being killed by meth. Methamphetamine use is causing huge problems in our community. Hear that? That's the sound of something you can do about it. Events like rodeo, res ball, and family time can help keep kids away from meth.
Talk to your kids. Keep our culture alive. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
Learn more at ncai.org.
Welcome back to Mvskoke Radio here on The Brew, 106.3 FM and 1240 AM. So if you're listening, do that. And if you wanted to listen in online, you can also do that at 1240thebrew.com. So check it out. And anybody who was saying, "Oh, I want to hear this," well, this is the way to do it. You can hear it. You can hear us online. Okay. Well, here's where the producer here gets to relax a little bit. Our surprises have been dealt with. Joining us here in the studio is Ms. Tess Harjo, Mr. James Bender, and Mark Mark Harjo, any relation to anybody?
Not that I know of.
Not that I'm aware of either.
But that's just sort of like saying Smith or Jones or something.
Yeah.
Like that. Stahekis. Now, what we're doing with this segment is we want to talk about the changes in Oklahoma law regarding incarceration of prisoners and how they're received and services that are available to them. First of all, the state released over 400 prisoners, former prisoners,
We're your station
under the changes to criminal law. Many things that had been felonies were reduced to misdemeanors, and I guess their thinking was we'll let those folks go who have committed misdemeanors. No sense in keeping them behind bars, and that might help solve some of their overcrowding. But first of all, let's have our folks introduce themselves. First of all, Tess, tell us who you are real quick.
I'm Tess Harjo. I'm 28 years old. I was just recently released last Monday due to commutation, and it feels really good to be out.
Oh, well, wonderful. Also, Mr. James Bender.
Hello, my name is James Bender. I work with the Creek Nation Reintegration Program, one of the senior case manager over there.
And Mark Harjo.
Hi, my name is Mark Harjo. I work with the Reintegration Program as the outreach specialist. I've been there for over 3.5 years now, doing different positions. Outreach specialist is kind of new to me, but I'm just learning as I go.
Okay, well, great. Hopefully we'll have a wonderful example for you to learn. Now, first of all, Tess, let's start with you. Our listeners don't know you from Eve, from the beginning. And you were part of the program where all these folks were released from incarceration. I know everyone is out there going to be asking the same question, or be asking me, why didn't you ask her? What got you there in the first place?
Drugs and bad decisions. Just basically not wanting to listen to people. Just wanting to do my own thing. And not taking the advice of anybody telling me anything else. Like, they were trying to lead me on the right path, and I was resisting. That's basically what it boils down to.
Okay, now, was this a group of teenagers that you hung with, or was this all on your own? How did that work out?
At first, it did start out with just a group of people that I hung around with, and then after a while, after I turned 18, that's when I decided I'm going to start doing things on my own. And it got to the point where I didn't care if I had friends or not, as long as I was still able to do things that I wanted to do by myself. I was perfectly fine with it.
Now, did you find that there were a large number of other young people sort of in the same boat, so to speak?
Yes, it was ridiculous to know how many people were incarcerated that had the same charge as me, and that were given the same amount of time or more just for something so small and insignificant, you know? And just getting to know those people and knowing their background, it really opened my eyes to know that there were other people in there like me. Their stories were similar or just a little bit different, but we were basically all there on the same charge, and it was just, I don't know how to describe it.
Would you say maybe they were there because they made the same mistake?
Yeah, most definitely.
We often run across situations like yours and the people who are involved in them. And we're all, I think, curious about, like, what was it like? What was life like? Did you get together in a group? You were on Indian gang, or were you out there pretty much on your own, looking out for yourself?
Everyone basically helped each other out there. I mean, you find your little group of people you want to hang out with. It's just like, I guess it's a weird comparison, but it's kind of almost like being in college. Like, you go there not knowing what to expect, and then after you're there for a little bit, that's when you find your people, I guess, so to speak. And they take care of you. It's surprising that the people there are actually really nice. I mean, you do have your groups of people where you just stay away from them, but the people there, they're really nice. I mean, just seeing them not on drugs or not drunk or anything, there's some really good people in there, and you just basically sometimes you have to fend for yourself.
Yeah. Now, did you have much chance, much opportunity to sit and kind of swap stories, talk about how you got there, or decisions you had made or they had made?
Yeah, there's a whole lot of free time you have in there. I mean, between classes, and if you take college classes or if you have a job there's so much free time there. You actually get to sit there and talk to people and get to know them.
Okay, let's shift gears just a little bit here now. Mark, can you fill us in a little bit about how the Creek Reintegration Program works? What's it all designed to do?
Yes, it's pretty much designed to help them individuals that are being released from incarceration once they get out with their transition back into society. Because some of them don't have any family or friends or just anybody to help them once they get out. So we just help them with food and clothing, emergency housing if they need it. We do help with housing outside of the living facility because there are some that are lucky once they get out they have a job lined up or they're married or have children. If they have any of those three, we would help them with housing, paying for their rent, security deposit, help with utilities. But they do got to submit documentation showing that they have a full-time employment and it's not temporary. Provide a marriage certificate and must have full custody of their children. Another thing, more things that we help with is getting their driver's license back or a state ID and birth certificate, social security card, applying for food stamps. And that's just something that we take them out and help them get that stuff done. We just transport them. We don't necessarily walk them into the office and then tell the office, hey, he needs to do this. We try to tell them, go up there and speak to them because you need to learn how to do these things on your own. You've probably been incarcerated for so long, but you got to do this stuff on your own because you're only going to be here for so long. But we want to get you to that point where you're able to take care of yourself.
Now, Mr. Bender, what is it that you focus on? What services do you supply there?
We really do individual case planning with all of our clients, our participants that come in. They're not all the same. They have different needs, different wants, different living situations. So it's hard to say what we really just focus on. We really, I guess, is independence. When they get done with our program, to be financially stable, mentally stable, and physically able to interact in society.
Now, let me ask you two guys, an education process, and I don't mean formally going to school or anything, but getting back into this world, so to speak. Do you find that really challenging? Like I'd read stories about guys who've been in so long that they went in before there were cell phones and the internet and all this other stuff, and then they come out, and it's like going into outer space or something with all the new technology and things like that. Do you have to teach these clients about the real world today?
Sometimes it's usually mainly the older ones that get out that kind of miss out on technology, but usually like the younger generation, they kind of have some kind of idea on how to use technology and everything. Wasn't but last year, I had an older client get out, come through our program, and I took him to the bank one time, and he wanted me to help him pull money off his card. He asked me to, hey, I need help with pulling money out of the ATM. And I said, you've never used an ATM before? And he said, no, I don't know how this thing works. And he's probably like 50-something, 60-something years old. So I was like, okay, I mean, that's new to me, but here's how you do it.
It makes me feel older, too.
Yeah.
But that's kind of a taken for granted kind of thing for us today. Now, Tess, now moving that question to you, I presume that you are familiar with cell phones and the internet and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Let me adjust your mic just a bit. Okay. Now, do you think there are any lapses in the way society has moved away from from you since you were placed in incarceration? Did you miss out on anything, do you think?
I honestly feel like since when I was there, when I was on the inside, like we had a whole different world in there, and so I had to make a whole new life in there, and so I wasn't really concerned or worried about anything outside of the fence. I don't have kids, so I wasn't missing out on anything like that. I did miss out on a couple of things with my family, but other than that, anything bigger than that, no. I wasn't really paying attention to it, so by the time I got out, there were things that were news to me, and I was like, oh, like, well, you hear this, such as, like, the president and the impeachment and stuff like that. I was like, oh, okay, well, I wasn't really concerned about that. I was like, maybe I should be concerned about it now. I mean, there's just things in there that you just don't really pay attention to in there.
What was, I guess, I'm interested in the day-to-day kind of thing, the routine now. What was that like?
We would wake up well, I guess it depended on the person. We have to be ready by 8 o'clock. You could sleep up until then. Breakfast was from 6 to 7, and then we'd come in for count at 7:20, or the yard would close around 7:15. We'd come in for count. So there was count times like all throughout the day. So once you started getting something going, you're basically revolved around count time, and so you'd either go to work or you go to school, or you would just find something to do if you didn't go to school or have a job. You just find something to go outside, find something to read all day. I mean, you think that you don't have anything to do in there, but there's always something to do in there. It keeps you busy.
Now, when you say count, that's I guess when you physically line up and the guards or the prison people make sure that all of you are still there?
Yeah, they have us on our bunks, and they go around and they count us, make sure we're all there, or where the person is supposed to be at that they say they're at. And then at the end of the night, that's when we have a standing ID count where we stand up we're off of our bunks and we stand up and they go around and count us.
Now, did you ever find yourself in a situation where it was a real conflict, either with the prison staff or other incarcerated people? Fights, arguments, whatever.
I've seen fights and arguments all the time. I mean, I've never put myself in that situation. Usually people tend to put themselves in that situation. I stayed away from that. But I did see a lot of conflict going on between other people and between inmates and staff, and it's unreal. Like, you always see things on TV about prison, and the things on TV about it it's a little more exaggerated than the prison that I was in. But there was still conflicts going on. Almost, I wouldn't say every day, but probably every other day.
Yeah, gosh. So there are several good reasons not to get into that.
Yeah.
Now, Mark, James, the information that Tess has just shared, is that sort of typical of what you guys hear when you start working with people?
Pretty much, yeah. Because I used to be a case manager, so like I said, I would ask these guys, what was it like inside? Does it feel like it made you different in any way? And and we've also toured prisons before too. My first time touring a prison was when I first started working for the reentry program, and it's nothing like that I would see on TV. I was actually surprised by the way that it was set up, and so yeah, I can see where you say it was exaggerated a bit on TV than what it's actually like being in there. So,
James, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I see it. It does make a change. A lot of the ones that I talk with are similar to Ms. Harjo, is that they kind of tend to forget about what's going on in the outside world to survive on the inside. And then whenever they get closer to the release date is whenever they'll start trying to get caught back up in what's going on in society around them. And that is a mindset that if they've been in there a long time and come out to what we see at the reintegration is it takes us a little while to tear down those barriers, to let them know that, we're here to try to help. We're not like the security guards out there trying to get them in trouble. We're here to help. It takes us a little while to get those walls down.
Mm-hmm. The I guess aftermath of that situation has sometimes been characterized as a very difficult period as they make the adjustments. What did you guys find that was the hardest challenge that you had to deal with?
My right off the bat, I would say employment. With everybody coming out,
that's what I was going to say too.
Because you got to have employment to get financially stable, to get housing, to get cars, to get your identification back, to really get your life back. You got to have some type of money coming in.
That, and it's also just a way to keep them busy. They have something to do throughout the day. And usually, the ones that can't find employment end up falling back into what they were doing before they went in.
Mm-hmm. Tess, would you agree with that? Have you got things lined up in your life at this point, or are you still kind of...
I'm planning on going to college at the Creek Nation College, so when the spring semester starts. But it is very important to keep yourself busy. When I was incarcerated, even going outside and not doing anything, I still felt like I was doing something. I was still going outside. I was still going to the library, just walking to different places. So I had a routine going. So when I came home the next day, it was really hard for me to adjust. I was still, the last week, I was still waking up around the same time every day. And I was just, didn't know what to do because I'm so used to doing certain things every day. And now that I'm home, I can't do those certain things. So I had to find something else to do, just basically implement I would say I just
yeah, right, that's okay. It's happened to me too, and I've got a couple thousand people listening.
Yeah.
Now the way to fill your day, you mentioned the library. Did you do a lot of reading, and what kind of stuff did you look at?
Oh yeah, I did a lot of reading. First I was like, oh well, I'm gonna just read some books by a particular author, but then after that there are only a certain amount of books by a certain author there, so it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna move on. But basically I was just sticking to fictional books, and in between that time, whenever I decided to stop reading, I would get visits from my aunt and my grandmother every weekend. And I decided, okay, I was like, I'm sitting here, I was like, I have a lot of time. I was like, why not try and learn my language? So I would, every time they'd come down, I would always ask my grandma what this means, how do I say this? And I also had an aunt that had attended the college, and she took the programs class or the language class. And I would always ask her and her boyfriend about, how do I say this, how do I form sentences? So in my spare time there, I was, trying to learn language, at least so that way when I got out, I would have something to do, something to fall back on when I came out.
And get yourself fed,
yeah.
Respect your elders.
Yeah.
How about Jay? Yeah. That would seem to give you a pass there. In my career in working with this kind of story, I've seen people from all different tribes talking about doing many of the same things that you do, regaining culture. And whether it was Lakota or Seneca or Creek, they always found that was a thing to hang on, something to anchor yourself. You work from here and go on. Did you feel the same way? Was it an anchor for you or something to fall back on? How did that work into your life?
Yeah, when I was inside, there was not very many Creek people there, and I've met a lot of people from different tribes. I've met people that are Kiowa, Cheyenne and Arapaho, they're Ponca. I just met all kinds of different natives in there, and we would all sit there and share our language. That was something that basically everyone knew. Like, even if it was just a couple of words or if they could speak it fluently. I mean, that's something that we could all sit there, share, and discuss was our language.
How did you do? Well, I'm a beginner in the class over here, so I can sympathize, but how well did you do? How much did you pick up?
There's a couple of things that I can say in Kiowa, like just a couple of words, like Palai, that means rabbit, and Ethapo means locust. And it's just the little things that I've learned, and since just hearing that, it's stuck with me now, and it just makes me appreciate the languages of other tribes a lot more.
I had a good friend who was Kiowa, and I learned some words from him, but probably not something we can repeat over the radio. Now, for you guys at the reintegration program, how important is culture and reconnecting people?
We find that to be, one of the center stones that they have coming out. I guess there's a lot of Native American groups, and all of our citizens get involved with that. And that's something that they want to reach out to whenever they get back or get to our facilities, is ask us what type of cultural learning can they do through our program. So with our program, we've brought in the language speaking there. We've got it's a white bison program that we have host, and it's a 12-step Native American-based program, kind of like NA and AA meetings, but it's got Native American culture in it. I find it, like you were saying earlier, is something that they kind of hold on to. Like I was stating earlier, they kind of forget the outside world and come up and figure out how to live inside. But what keeps them moving and going forward is culture and learning about their culture.
Mm-hmm. Any thoughts there, Mark?
You pretty much nailed it all.
Well, I found, personally, in regaining so much of this, it gives you an inner strength, I think, and a little security, and you're more comfortable. Like this is stuff my dad, he was a Creek guy in our family, and tried to teach, us as little kids, how kids are, in one ear and out the other. I learned a few things, and when I started taking classes and things, I started to remember and things like that. Was that the situation with you, Tess, or were you fairly fluent when you went in?
I was speaking it there for a little bit, just with friends and stuff, and then when I went in, it just kind of went out the window until I started meeting other people from other tribes or that were the same tribe as me, and we started sharing, like, hey, can you speak Creek? Like, if I seen other Creek people there, I'd be like, can you speak Creek? Do you know how to say this and this? And sometimes they didn't know anything other than they'd probably just know how to say hello or thank you. And so I would sit there and I'd teach them how to say things. So I feel like that helped them a lot. That's something that's gonna stick with them, and hopefully they will want to learn more when they get out.
Well, it sounds like it helped you a lot.
Yeah.
By sharing this. I think probably it sounds like building your inner strength and things. Is that pretty much the case?
Yeah, a lot of people that I've talked to in there, some people that's been in there for at least 5 years or more, they say that they've gotten to learn who they are. And they're just sitting, they think a lot. And sometimes some people think negative and that's all they'll think, but there's people in there that'll think positively about themselves, like, okay, this is what I want for my future. They have goals, and so after they figured out who they were, they know what they wanted to do, and they connected. They connected with people in there, and they plan to stay connected with them when they get out.
Did you run across people or know people in there who were so permanently scarred, so to speak, that there wasn't a whole lot of hope for them? You knew they were in a bad place and they were going to stay in that bad place on either side of those bars?
Yeah. There was a couple of people that I've actually talked to who were on this commutation docket and that were going home that said that as soon as they got out, they were just going to go back and do what they want, the same thing that they did that get them in there. I mean, it was like, you're getting a chance to start over, but you're going to take this chance and just throw it out the window and just go back to your old ways. Like, you know what's going to happen. You're either going to come back behind this fence or you're going to die. And that, it just amazed me just to know how many people were actually thinking that way. I mean, they want to take a gamble with their life like that, but I don't intend to do it.
That's wonderful to hear. She just described a situation I know that you guys have had to run into. How do you deal with the people who are so far gone that you don't see a whole lot of hope there?
It's kind of hard to keep them on track if they have that state of mind. I mean, we try to pull them back, do everything we can, but like I said, some of them are just so stubborn they don't listen, and we can't keep them in the program. It's entirely up to them. It's entirely up to that individual to want to help themselves and better themselves. Like I said, all we can do is just be there, talk to them, try to guide them down the right path. But in the end, I mean, it's really up to that person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what we found out is they're going to do what they're going to do. We try to get them involved in more things to try to get them out of that mindset. But once there comes a point in time when you realize that you're really not going to change or impact that individual they're going to be or do what they're going to do, what we try to do from that point, if they're living in our living facility, is to make sure we minimize the impact they have on our other participants, because that having that attitude will rub off onto others, and then now we have others not wanting to do the right thing. So once we see that, like I said, we try to minimize it and isolate that individual and sit down and visit with him really and see what he's really wanting to do.
Mm-hmm. Did you gentlemen have to deal with what do they call it, recidivism, people in and out kind of thing?
Kinda. Well, our program's actually one-time only program, depending on a case-by-case situation. Just because most of the time, we'll have somebody come through, they'll do well, but then, they'll have a slight hiccup and they'll end up back in, and then they'll contact us by letter or phone call saying, hey, I'm looking at getting released next month, can I come back to the program? And it's like, well, we kind of did a lot for you the first time, that was your second chance getting out, we tried to help you the best way we could. But let us know when you get out. You can come speak to the case manager, and we'll discuss, what we can do for you. And, sometimes, depending on where they are, like in their state of mind, their attitude, we may decide to help that individual again. But then, if it just becomes a repetitive process, it's kind of at that point where it's, look, man, you're repeat offender. Like, you keep messing up. Like, our program's not going to do you any good if you don't want to change.
Right. You can't keep playing this game.
Yeah. And, a lot of them get upset because, like, they feel like, you're supposed to help me. Like, we were trying to. I was like, but you don't want to help yourself. So, like I said, we get a lot of unhappy former clients that call that can't receive assistance again.
Mm-hmm. And they go back to that same path.
Mm-hmm.
Tess, I want to ask you, did you run across these kinds of folks who are just in and out all the time? Or?
Yeah. There was a lady I was in there with, and I believe that was like her third time being in there. I mean, there's a couple of them that's their second time being in there, but it's just crazy, like, just to sit there and they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to do this again. I said this the last time, but the way their mindset was in there, they're not going to change. Like, they keep telling themselves that, yeah, I'm going to do this when I get out. But in reality, if you listen to the way they talk and watch their actions in there, you're going to know that, okay, this person's going to get out and they're going to be right back, because if they're not going to change their ways while they're inside, there's definitely no way they're going to change when they come home.
Mm-hmm. So if you're dealing drugs and you go back to that lifestyle, you're going to get popped again and back into probably even deeper hole this time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. As you look to your own future, Tess, what, I guess, direction are you going? Have you got something really lined up? You mentioned going back to school, but do you have a discipline in mind? Do you have something you want to accomplish?
I actually want to get a degree. I want a career in communications. My uncle, Lucas Taylor, used to work in communications, and since he has his own little photography business, that I am really geared toward photography. And I'm really good at speaking to people, so I figure I can implement some sort of ministry with photography or in journalism.
Sort of motivational. Well, if you choose journalism, let me advise you this. First thing you do is take your vow of poverty. I've been in it for 40 years, and I'm still paying the bills, but that's about it. Now, does the reintegration program help your clients with these kinds of directions? If they say, well, this is what I want to do, and if you hear that, what do you do, and how do you deliver?
We usually, try to figure out exactly what they want to do. I mean, it's like, yeah, I want to go to college. And it's like, okay, well, what do you want to go to college for? You got to figure that stuff out before you try to, try to go to college. But most of the time, we partner with employment and training. We'll go take them over there, meet with those guys. They'll have them do like a little career assessment, try to figure out what they're good at, what their abilities are, strengths are, and stuff like that. And pretty much just go from there and try to get there. Some of them don't even have a GED whenever they get, or a high school diploma. So that's usually the first step. And after they get that, then we'll look towards going to school, college, and stuff like that.
Is it tough to convince them about something like a GED? I know that I had a young friend when I was living and working in Alaska who decided, I don't like this graduation stuff, this cap and gown and the prom. I'm not into it. I'm not going. I don't care. I'm quitting school. And the knucklehead did that in the last quarter of his academic career in school. He quit. And pretty quickly he found out that you can't go anywhere without that little piece of paper. I mean, you might be smart, you may be good with your hands, but nobody's going to hire you without that piece of paper. So he finally went in there and all of a sudden turned around and said, dang man, you guys were right all this time, and achieving those kinds of things is an important step in a successful career. So you're able to help them and the GED thing or whatever, back to school.
Yeah. There's actually a GED program in Henrietta. It's on Thursdays, I think it is. Yeah. Whenever they first come in, that's usually one of the first things, like, what's your education like? Do you have a GED or high school diploma? And, some of the lucky few would be like, well, I got my GED while I was in. I just need to get a copy of it. So it's like, okay, we'll work on that for you. But then there are some that still need to get their GED when they get out, and we'll usually have them go to those classes on Thursday nights in Henrietta at the high school. And like I said, you get some that really want to get it and move forward, but then you get some that'll just keep going to class, but they're not getting anywhere. And then you got to have a talk with them, and so it's like, what's going on? Like, you've been going to these classes for 2 months now, like this person started at the same time as you, and they already have their GED. So like, what's going on with you? Is the teacher not teaching you, or what's up?
You're just showing up to class just to be on the list.
Yeah, pretty much.
And you don't learn anything then.
But yeah, like I said, we pretty much help everybody with whatever they want to do. If they want to go to school, find a job. Like I said, they might not want to go to college. I mean, they might have a high school diploma or a GED, but whenever they get out, they're like, I want to go to work. Even if I can't find a job right now, is there something I can do around here to help out? I just want to stay busy and do something. And it's like, okay, we'll try to find something for you.
Just let me ask you, I guess, the question is going to come out as, sort of, did you learn your lesson kind of thing, but that's not necessarily what I want to say. But, having lived the experience you have now, where are you and what kind of person are you now?
I can't see a change in myself, but everyone around me has told me that I've changed, that I've grown. But I was in there, I've learned that I'm almost 30 years old, and it's time to grow up. I mean, I don't want to be like the people that keep coming back, getting chance after chance and just not taking it and running with it. I want to do something with my life. All these years that I've been screwing with my own life, I didn't want to have responsibility. I didn't want to grow up, but now I see what my life could ultimately be like if I didn't grow up. And I'm just really thankful and grateful that I got this chance to do better for my life.
Mm-hmm. Are you seeing some of the people that you knew before? I mean, I don't mean that, going back to that life, quote unquote, but acquaintances you had, or people, that you just have to run across on the street or whatever. I mean, is that element still there?
I am still a little sketched out by it. Like, when I go into town, I'm like, am I gonna see a certain person, or am I gonna see this person? But then I'm like, it doesn't matter if I do or don't. I was like, just before I went in, yeah, we would hang out, run around, do whatever. But while I was in, where were they at? So I don't expect them to be in my life now that I'm home.
Mm-hmm. They could have come and said hello, could have helped you out with something, but they didn't.
Yeah.
And so I guess, I don't know, a gang isn't going to be there when you need them like that, huh?
Right. Not seeing them for 22 months, I mean, and then they expect me to just come home and be like, hey, I'm back. I'm like, no.
No.
Yeah.
No, that part of your life is done.
Yeah, that's the old me, that's the past, and that's where it intends to stay.
Okay, well, that's such an encouraging thing to hear. I mean, so glad to hear that. Do you guys run across the changes in people like Tessa just shared? I mean, can you see that happen?
I would say that it's rare. But I mean, we do see some that kind of have the same attitude as you, but we also do get some that, I mean, they'll have the same attitude, but they, like I said, they don't keep that mindset. I mean, they when you first talk to them, they pretty much tell you what you want to hear, and I mean, it is what you want to hear. It's good that you have the attitude. We're gonna try to help you the best way we can, but then they get comfortable, they get employment, start making some money, but then they fall back to getting together with those old acquaintances and stuff like that, and it just that's the only thing that really I can just give you some advice on. Once you get going, get back on your feet, stay on that path. Don't reach out to anybody, or if anybody stops you and wants help from you. I mean, yeah, you can say, I'd love to help you, but I'm still trying to better myself. I advise you to do the same thing. But like I said, there's some people that they get back on their feet, but then once they meet up with somebody old, they just collide and doesn't go anywhere from there, and they pretty much just bring that individual back down, and that's one of the problems that we see with some of our clients. Because we see some that they come in, they do great, we're happy for them, they're almost getting ready to transition out of our living facility into their own home or exit the program, but then they start falling back into what they were doing before, meeting with old acquaintances, and then, like I said, it all just falls apart for them.
Does Tess sound like someone who would be eligible for your services?
Yes. Like I said, you would just have to fill out one of our applications. We'd look at it, review it, but you are Creek, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mvskoke. Tess, the same question to you now. Did you hear anything from them about the program, or anything there that interests you enough to look into it a little further?
Yeah, definitely. Just the whole, just everything. Just to help out trying to find a job, trying to further my education. While I was in, they have forms for reentry programs, and I was looking at them, and they're all basically the same. They want to help you, get you back, transition to the world outside of the fence. And but whenever I came across this program, I was like, well, that's something I'm interested in because it's with my tribe, so I would be really familiar with things that are going on in this program, and I am just really interested in it.
Okay, well, hopefully they can sit down and talk and work something out and become a participant. And we wish you the best of luck with the choices you make in the future. I want to thank you so much for being here with us today and sharing your experiences.
Mado for having me.
Guys, thank you for coming in and turning that program into a face, some voices, everyday kind of things that we'll offer our citizens, like tests and all. So hopefully you'll be able to sign her up.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, Mado, for having us.
Okay, well, I tell you what, we're going to take a short little pause, and I've got some community announcements to share, so please stay with us here on Mvskoke Radio.
I don't want people assuming things because I'm Indian. I just want to be me. But how do I live in two worlds? Some guys just check out by doing meth. But that ain't for me. Because I see my family, my friends, my drum making, my future. There are a lot of cool things about being who I am. And meth isn't one of them.
Learn more at ncai.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
We raise our glasses.
Okay, before they raise their glasses, we have some announcements here to share, a few quick ones. Of course, the reintegration services. If you're interested in talking with those guys, give them a call at 918-549-2620 and check with them. I'm sure you're going to find some wonderful things there for those who need services like that or help or know someone. Also, on the 15th, here, just in another couple of days, America Recycles Day, November the 15th. That's Friday at the Mvskoke Creek Nation Recycle Center, and they're collecting a whole bunch of stuff. And as you heard today, even more items than they began with, so that's a wonderful thing. And hot dogs aren't too bad either. Okay, Tribal Film Festival celebrating Native American Month, a horror film by Jeff Barnaby, starring Michael Gray Eyes, Kiowa Gordon, Gary Farmer, on the 16th at the Philbrook Museum in Tulsa. The tickets are on sale. Let's say Philbrook, or online, www.eventbrite.com, and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's celebrating Native American Month, a horror film by Jeff Barnaby. Okay, Eufaula is busy for Native American Month. We've got a cornhole tournament on the 16th at the Eufaula Indian Community Center. And you might want to get real good at it. The team fee is $40, but first place is $500, and you can bring your own bags. Okay, Native American Arts and Crafts, Saturday the 16th, also at the Eufaula Indian Community Center in Eufaula from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. And, of course, you'll want to go out there and check some possible Christmas gifts, maybe. What else have we got? Of course, a horseshoe tournament, and their motto is, if the shoe fits, throw it. Native American Month celebration. That's November 16th at the Eufaula Indian Community Center. Singles and doubles, registration at 8 a.m. And a nice chunk of change for first place, $500, and then $400, $300, and $200 for the next few places. Okay, Eufaula Smoke Shop, Native American Month, November the 16th, domino tournament. So if you're good with those little black and white cubes, you might want to check them out at the Eufaula Indian Center. Entry fee's $20, but the first place wins $300. So there's that little get-together offering some real cash if you're interested. And once again, the reintegration program has some criteria. You must be in Roll Creek, reside within the jurisdiction, must have a felony conviction, or receive time served for your problem. Pre-release 6 months, post-release 2 years. So give them a call. Once again, 918-549-2620. Okay, let's see. We got anything else in our little stack here? I think that's it for Mvskoke Radio this year. We want to invite you, of course, to listen to some of our future programs. We're hoping to arrange interviews with film producer Sterling Harjo, and then our recent ambassador, or so to speak, our spokesperson to the national government in Disneyland on the Potomac, Mr. Janadev Chaudhuri, is working on finding a spot in his schedule, and we've got a couple of other things kicking around there. But in the meantime, we want to say thank you once again. We appreciate that you joined us today, and say Mado Mabo Hedgetskut. You've been listening to Mvskoke Radio. Join us again next week for more local, tribal, and community news and updates. Mado.